Hi, this is Jonathan Sweet with HousingZone.com. Today I'm here with Patrick O'Toole, Editorial Director of Professional Builder and Professional Remodeler magazines. Patrick, everyone's been talking about the housing industry lately. A lot of news out there. Are we going to do a double dip? What's happening? The importance of the industry? And I understand you've got some new information to tell us about that.
Yeah, you're right, Jonathan. I think around this office and a lot of other places around the country, we think about the health of the housing market perhaps too much. But right now, there's a lot happening, and the debate is only intensifying. This past week, the NAHB released a poll that it conducted of likely voters, not all Americans, but voters, and it basically reaffirmed the importance that housing has among voters. And the importance of this is that this information will be put back into politicians' court to say, hey, you can mess with housing, you can take away the mortgage interest deduction, you can undo the GSEs, but you do it at your own peril. So a very important survey from the NAHB Remodeler. Some quick results from that about homeownership. Homeownership and retirement savings programs are considered by those voters to be their best investments. Another point, 80% of homeowners would advise a close friend or family member just starting out to buy a home. Saving for a down payment and closing costs are now the biggest barrier to home ownership, so raising that to 20%, as is being proposed, is going to really slow things down further. Last point, Americans believe that owning their own home is as important as being successful at their job or being able to pay for a family member's education. So this is really big stuff. NAHB's got another part of this coming out on housing policy this week, and you can go to housingzone.com to learn more about it.
Well, clearly shows the importance that Americans and especially American voters, is what really matters to people in Congress, think about housing. Now, I understand there's also some other information coming out, other influential people talking about housing this week.
Well, there are some influential bloggers out there, and we've come to see the rise of the blogosphere as being important in the housing market. And one influential financial blog, Money Morning, there was a post by a gentleman by the name of Shah Jalani that's getting a lot of attention, and it's dated June 10th, How the U.S. Housing Market Can Save the U.S. Economy. Now, for those of us in the housing industry, we've been saying this all along, and the NAHB had the old fix housing first mantra going around 2008, 2009. Well, the financial community is now coming around to realize that even though some of the culprits of the housing bust would benefit from a support for housing, that there may be no other way for the U.S. economy to fully recover than to put some supports in place for housing. So I think between this NAHB poll showing the political perils of fixing housing or taking away some of the support, and then this blog and this dialogue about how we could use housing to save the economy, very important trends. We're starting to see the pendulum go the other way, and maybe we will again not see the rapid dismantling of housing. So something we're following on Housing Zone. Real quickly, what this blog post is saying is banks should be there with a pool of funds. All the banks that received bailout money should be there with a pool of funds to prop up and securitize mortgages that are underwater in the United States. Controversial, but it may be effective, and the same arguments could be made for propping up housing that were made for propping up the banks to begin with. So really interesting debate going on about housing. So much news, perhaps too much, but we're watching that here at HousingZone.com.
Thanks a lot, Patrick. And again, like Patrick said, be sure to check out HousingZone.com where we're covering all the news on housing.
Thanks.